Part two of how great things happen out of nowhere, just fall out of the sky for me, and why people like my roommate David have more and more problems falling out of the sky for them. Now, in my last video, I went a little off track, but what got my wanting to discuss this is hundreds of events. Like, for instance, I got people wanting to give me rides, stuff like that all the time. And I do. Linda is dropping off a bunch of food for me today. That's the one who used to talk off my ear and come in all the time and talk about her son and her roommate, and I would help her out with doctors she can go to. And like one of her roommates was some shaman guy who was in the drugs. Instead of being in the drugs, I told him, "Did you know that there are actual medicines that you can use out there in your shaman type practices that are fun too?" He's like what? All that shit is fake. No, I like all the drugs. I'm like, yeah, but how about bay leaves for upset stomach? How about lion's mane that give you some thought? And how about getting real CBD from a real CBD company and trying that? Or how about, here, I got a little gift packet for you. I had this old little medicine man packet. It was a total of 20 different herbal medicines, just plain old medicines from all around the world. Some of them are African seeds, some of them are flowers. There was blue lotus in there too, what I'm very familiar with already. There was all different types of stuff. Now, most of it is just like bay leaves and cinnamon root and there was black pipe, no, ghost pipe, sorry. There was another one called Kana. There was another one called something root. It was like ginseng. It was ginseng. There was guarana, or the one that they make cola nuts out of, or something like that. That when they make caffeine, there was cola nuts. Oh, there was a form of chocolate, but not real chocolate. It was a different type of cocoa plant, cacaya. No, it's pronounced cacaya, cacao, whatever. So there was a bunch of those, and the ones I didn't use or didn't need, like there was one that was an anti-inflammatory that helped swelling go down. There was another one for acid reflux. I kept that. The blue lotus I kept as well, but I made into a tea for my coworker. She ended up giving me some CBD hemp, not marijuana, actual hemp that somebody gave her, but she didn't want. So she just gave it to me for free. And I said, well, if you're going to give me all this free hemp because somebody gave it to you instead of weed because you wanted weed, and I'm the only guy you know who likes actual hemp, everybody else just thinks it's bogus, why don't I give you something I got in the mail that I don't need? So stuff like that happened. But, yep, I just gave this little medicine man sample kit. And I do these nice deeds, and I give them advice. Like one time she came in crying, and I said, instead of getting mad and yelling at them like your plan is, why don't you try to just be like the bigger man here? Let them spout out all the shit, and then tell them that you feel like your relationship or you're not going to be able to live together because that hurt your feelings, but say it in a more adult way, not like that's how I tell children to say it. But as far as her, I told her, why don't you just say this and that, make your feelings known. Same thing I did with my coworker with one of her boyfriends. I said I would tell him that if you guys are going to stay together, then you guys need to be able to talk these things out. Or I can't say it right now because the situation, I don't have the information that I need. I got to have the person venting, and then I can give a good advice. Pulling it out of memory when I'm actually thinking about Linda bringing over food might not be the best example, but you see what I mean. Playing, as I talk, I call it talking people off edges, is what my manager and other people said. Zach's really good at talking people off edges or playing therapist, but I don't try to. I don't want to. I just want to sit there and do my own thing, being happy. But because I'm so open, I listen, I'm not judgmental, people get violent, and I talk to them about, okay, so you're being inappropriate, you have to leave the store. I'm not going to ban you from the store, but this is what you did wrong. You're talking about how people are pretty asses and how they're hot in front of my other customers. You don't know how old they are. These girls could be 16 years old. We don't know. So I'm having to throw you out of the store. And so you are to leave my store right this minute because I am throwing you out. Now, I understand that you were just trying to be like, oh, she's hot. But also, she could have come up to me and had a problem with that, and I would have had to ban you permanently. So I don't want, I'm going to have to make a report out about this just in case that girl complains to her family about you. Because I can't have customers coming in here making a scene. I've told you that. You don't talk about how people look gay. You don't talk about how people look sexy. You don't talk about drugs. You don't talk about how you like drugs. You don't talk about any of these inappropriate things. And on my shift, you don't swear in front of the kids. Now, other people allow swearing. They say, who fucking cares? Stuff like that. But when we have 16-year-olds and old ladies in the store, I am very anti-swearing, and I make that apparent. That, hey, buddy, there's no swearing in here. But you swear, not while this customer's in the store. If you don't mind swearing, that's one thing. If I don't mind swearing, that's one thing. But if the little old lady comes in and she does mind, I want her to feel at home. I want her coming back in my store. So there is no swearing in the store. Now, if you want to talk to me as a friend on the sideline, fine. We can swear while there's no customers. But while there's customers in the store, there is no swearing. And what's even funnier is these are customers. They're just our regulars that hang around. And if they are okay with swearing and I'm okay with swearing, then yes, you can swear. But not while there's other people there, old lady and children. These are the type of things I establish, and people love this about me. They love this honesty, this opinion of people's feelings, always putting myself in other people's shoes. Like, for instance, my manager had another coworker. She had her blue dot, I guess, on her phone. That meant that she's on her phone. And the manager was flipping out. She's like, I've been texting her all morning. She hasn't got back to me. She's doing this on purpose. She's ignoring me on purpose. See this blue dot? That means she's on her phone. She's on her phone getting my messages. I am so pissed. I'm going to fire her ass because she's getting my messages. Now, I have had situations where I've left my phone at home on, let's say, Messenger, and it gives me a blue dot. And then my friends ask me, hey, why didn't you get back to me? I said, I didn't get your message. And then they say, well, the phone says you did get my message. I'll say, well, I wasn't home and I wasn't by the phone. So I've figured this out in reverse. I've been on the other side of this before, but with friends, and figuring out that apparently there is a blue dot that tells you you're on Facebook or you're on Messenger or you're on the phone, that tells other people that you're able to talk. But that doesn't actually mean you're able to talk. And it's a very common misconception where people don't understand technology can make mistakes. Just because the technology says that the person is on the phone doesn't mean that they're on the phone. So anyways, the manager is in her little office screaming. I come over because there's no customers. I say, is everything all right? Anything I can help with? She goes, no, Zach, just another fucking person at another store. They haven't showed up for their shift. I'm going to have to go in and cover for them. I go, oh, that stinks. She goes, yeah, I would ask you to cover, but you're already covering here. You know what I don't get is this blue dot right here says that what's her name has my messages and she's just not refusing. I said, oh, that little blue dot. You know what? I've had this happen to me before where I have had my phone at home on Facebook or Messenger or on text messaging and left it running. And then I've been out and I get back and people are calling me saying that they try to message me. That could be what's happening here, I tell her. And then she goes, oh, Zach, you're so helpful. Yeah, that's probably what's happening. Yeah. She had her Facebook on her computer or phone, and she left it running when she went out because she said she was going out. She said that right before I started messaging her these. Oh, yeah, Zach. Oh, yeah. I'm overreacting. Okay, yeah. And then the next day, my manager calls me and says, Zach, you were right. I don't even remember the conversation. I'm like, right about what? What was I right about? I don't even know. And then she's like, oh, Zach, yeah, remember that blue dot stuff we talked about? That's what it was. It was just that she walked away from her phone and went out just like she said she was going to do, and she left the app running on her phone. I said, see, it's nothing to worry about. I guess as shit happens, it sure does. It stinks, but I've done plenty of other people's shifts while injured, while bleeding into my testicles. You're a manager getting paid double what I get paid to cover those shifts, yet I'm the one covering them most of the time. Now, I got to cut this short because somebody's trying to call me